At Proctor Public Schools, we're more than just a district. We're a journey. Every day, our teachers, staff, and students work together, building knowledge, confidence, and character mile by mile. From our early learners to our graduates ready for the world ahead, we're fueling curiosity, connecting ideas, and driving innovation, all while keeping our eyes on the horizon. Because here in Proctor, we don't just ride the rails, we are the rails, educating, engaging, and inspiring the next generation to go full steam ahead.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Clerk, take roll, please.
McDonald.
Here.
Peterson. Here. Cochran.
Here.
McGornick.
Here.
Shelton.
Here.
Sunbaum.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
Student liaison members Malachi Abrasha,
Here.
Clara Krasinski, Lincoln Lyons,
Here.
Olivia Moore Swanson, Lillian Alarico. Also in attendance, Tim Rowader, Superintendent, and Business Manager Garrett Hulkran. Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to our vision and mission statement. We are driven by purpose and powered by community to educate, engage, and inspire. And item number 4, adoption of the agenda. Looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
Motion by Amy. Looking for a second.
I'll second it, Larry.
Second by Larry. Any questions on the agenda? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. And 5, approval of the minutes of the regular school board meeting of February 23rd, 2026. Looking for a motion.
So moved, Jen.
Motion by Jen. Looking for a second.
Yeah, I could second it, Jim.
Second by Jim. Any questions or comments on these minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go right past public comment. We've got nobody in attendance to speak, so we'll go to communications. Commendations and congratulations. Commend Reed for their continued support of lifelong learning and hosting the Read by Candlelight Dinner held on February 20th. Commend the following 8th grade students for being selected to participate in the 59th annual UMD Honor Band on February 24th. Noah Larson, Carly Biss, Lily Percival, Rocky Shaner, Georgia Miner, Maverick Runke, and Zoe Andries. And commend Chloe Carlson for being named All-State for girls basketball in Class AA. And congratulate the following students who earned honorable mention for their short film at the Student Television Network competition in Tampa, Florida last week. Alex Addy, Aaliyah Schnepper, Dean Sanderson, Riley Rogue, and Lily Shaw. All right, moving on to the next item. It is time for our student liaison comments.
All right. I just have a short thing for the high school. Obviously, the end of the school year is approaching, so teachers and counselors are kind of pressing students to get their registration all set up so that they're aware for next year. The new Proctor U kind of program is offering 17 different CITS options, which is a lot. And there will be family engagement night for both high school and middle school on March 11th so that students can talk directly to teachers, like parent-teacher conferences, and also the counselors will be available to talk more about registration and options like that. Super exciting. Annie opens on Friday, March 13th at 7. And our cast is going to be performing for Bayview and Pike Lake's 4th and 5th grades in the morning that day. So really pumped about that. Pro Start Business, or Culinary 3, is going to be going to competition in Minneapolis on Thursday, March 12th. And then spring activities, the season is beginning. Softball, baseball, track, golf, lacrosse, and more activities will be starting up here soon. Spring break is on the way, and I'm super fired up for that. And then lastly, Regan Donahue's funeral was last Friday, and I attended. It was a really beautiful ceremony, and there was so many people there. You could not find a parking space a mile away. So that was really good. And that's all I have.
Yeah, so I don't have anything prepared, but I'll just give you guys an update on student government and some things I've been seeing around the school. So in student government recently, we've been working on planning for prom, and obviously prom's at Spirit Mountain this year. I think students have been skeptical, but I'm excited for that venue just because of the view, and I think honestly it's a really nice space that we'll be able to decorate. And student government, I think, well, technically we have to go talk to Garrett about this, but I think we thought we had some money left over. But anyways, we'll be starting like not a coin drive, a chocolate coin, like Irish St. Patrick's Day type candygram. That'll be on Thursday, Friday, and Monday morning. And then also on this Wednesday, there's a Spike Club talent show. Is that this Wednesday? I think it's this Wednesday. I've heard things about a talent show, so that sounds exciting. Sounds like there's going to be a lot of kids attending, lots of younger kids. And then, yeah, spring's here. It's kind of crazy how fast it's come. It's like senior year's already almost gone, so definitely looking forward to the summer, but also kind of bittersweet, you know. Thank you.
Can I ask, is it a polar plunge or something next week?
Oh, is that, I think that,
I think it is next week, isn't it the 18th?
18th, yeah.
mhm.
And that's here,
There's a-
right? They're doing something
Yeah, it's going to be, I think they're doing it in the parking lot.
here?
There's going to be polar plunge. I think Mr. Awesome's
There's a
participating.
big puddle.
Yeah.
One more thing, Lakin. Will you talk to us about the wrestling fundraiser on Saturday,
Oh.
since I saw you there in
Yeah.
attendance?
Of course. So on Saturday there was a wrestling fundraiser, and this was like a co-op between Proctor, Hermantown United, of course, and then also Cloquet and Esco wrestling team. So I was really impressed to see how many people were there, considering in our area, of course, those are co-op teams, so they're quite a bit smaller than say Rock Ridge or like, you know, some bigger teams. So it was cool. I think there was a little over 200 people in attendance. There's lots of fun prizes, really good food from Carmen's. That was delicious. I was really impressed. Yeah, and it was really cool to see a lot of our athletes, you know, like going around and almost like serving tables, greeting people, cleaning up the tables, being to assistants, and that was really nice to see. It was a good event.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Would you share the notes with me and I'll add these things on there? Thank you.
All right. Moving on to item C, communications media. Items related to the district from the Proctor Journal, February 26, 2026 edition. State consolation title with a shutout. Rising qualifies for state in 2 events. Breaks 24-year-old team record and his own. This is swimming, correct? Yes, thank you. And then there was an article, Why the Mallet Continues to Print, and Girls Nordic Team Wins Conference Title. From the March 5th, 2026 edition, cast and crew of 78 to bring Annie to PHS stage. 7 8th graders named to UMD Honor Band, 30th Annual Read Event, a record breaker. PHS 8th grade Family Engagement Night, March 11th, as we just heard, and PHS in Regional Robotics Contest. And moving on to the consent agenda. Looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
Motion by Amy, looking for a second.
I'll second that, Tammy.
Second by Tammy. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have, moving on to item 9, informational items and reports, do we have any pre-approved presentations? I don't think so. Okay. Superintendent report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to start out just tonight by talking about academics representing Proctor High School. We've had a pretty successful winter season in athletics, but academics this last week and this coming week are kind of taking center stage. As you saw in the commendations, congratulations, our Student Television Network folks that went down to Tampa represented very well. One of the teams earned honorable mention, which basically is 5th place out of about 250 teams that submitted short films. So first time they placed when they're down there, and super exciting, super proud of them. They worked hard on that. But overall, all 6 of their teams submitted their films on time, which is also quite a feat with, having to do everything right there and edit and do everything at once. So congratulations to them. I believe maybe next meeting they might be here to talk more about that. Proctor Frostbite, first robotics over the weekend. I've never been so riveted on YouTube watching robotics. I mean, it was amazing. I went down on Friday, watched a little bit, but then on Saturday, the team, there were 46 teams there, and after they do their qualifying matches, they create alliances, and if you're chosen so the top 8 teams get to pick 2 teams to go to the medal round, I guess you could say it. And our team was chosen by the #1 team to go into the finals, or into the final competition. And so they made it all the way to the championship of the whole region. And best 2 out of 3, they ended up losing to the 2nd seeded team in the 3rd match of the championship. But they're #2 in the region. That's a huge accomplishment, kind of the first time our robotics team has kind of made it that far. Great team this year, great crew, good bot. And this Saturday, they're going to have a jamboree in our field house, Saturday and Sunday. They're actually setting up the whole thing in our field house. And so if you're interested to see that, I'm going to help set it up Friday. I'm looking forward to that. So, again, just another academic type thing that is representing us well. And then our math team on Monday is heading down to South St. Paul for the state math team meet. And they're ranked #1 in Class A, or #2 in Class A behind Rochester Lord. And they're only about 20 points behind them, so they feel like they could definitely bring home state championships. So they're excited about that. So that would be pretty cool to have our math team win a state championship. So yeah, it's not just all about athletics here at Proctor. And obviously Annie this weekend, looking forward to that. Just a quick update about Northern Lights Academy. They did sign a lease with Cloquet for the next 5 years to use the Garfield building in Cloquet, so they have a home. Everything's together in one spot, and so that's good news for the co-op. And so, in essence, their effort to push for money from the legislature or levy authority from the legislature and such is suspended because they feel like this could be their home permanently. However, our lease levy amount will increase as a result of the increased lease amount that they're paying Cloquet for this space. So I can bring more information about that once that's finalized and what that means. So, and then later on in the agenda, you're going to, talk about makeup days for our snow days. If you read the board reporter, we had, we're required to have 165 instructional days on our calendar. Currently, we have 4 snow days district-wide. That brings us down to 164. And then we had the water emergency day at the secondary site, which brings the secondary down to 163. I met with MDE last week asking for some grace. They said no, we got to have 165. I said, well, we're still above in terms of instructional hours. They said, well, that really doesn't apply to this situation. Instructional hours are basically for like early childhood and alternative learning programs in terms of funding. And so the statute that dictates our calendar is the 165. And so I've been meeting with our union leaders and administrators to figure out kind of what the plan is going to be. And we have 2 more staff learning days left this year. And so April 6th is the next one. So our plan, as you'll see on the agenda, our recommendation is that the April 6th staff learning day be turned into a student learning contact day. And I worked with the union to make sure that, like our paras and custodians and bus drivers and food service, it's all worked out kind of as far as how they're going to be compensated for those days and what that looks like. So all those pieces have been worked out. And again, I plan to, if it's approved tonight, to communicate that tonight and tomorrow to not only our school community, but parents and students and all that stuff, so that they can plan ahead. As far as the secondary water emergency day, it's kind of a unique challenge because, you know, you have the secondary come to school and the elementary not. A lot of those people need their kids home to watch the younger kids. So it presents a kind of unique challenge there. But May 15th, Friday, May 15th is our last staff learning day. And what I'm planning to propose at the next meeting, I'm still working out some of the details, but would most likely be a half-day morning for the secondary. We have to have lunch for it to be considered an instructional day. So kind of go through fourth hour on that May 15th and get the kids home, and then the rest of the day would be a staff development day for our secondary. Our elementary would be staff development all day. The RACC training and stuff, I've been working with Brian and Mark Hagemeyer. For those people that are doing RACC, we still work out to do the live session that afternoon. So again, I'll come with a formal recommendation next meeting for the second one, but that's kind of the track we're heading down right now a little bit. So along with that, I know in the past, you know, Carrie Jutton and you know, John Engel King, you know, we never really did pursue the e-learning day piece, but that's another piece that I'm going to recommend, is that we look into that and work with the unions to come up with an e-learning day plan that gets approved this summer, so that if we get in a situation where we run out of days, that we can employ that, so we don't have to end up making up days. So, so I've been collecting kind of e-learning day plans from the different districts around us to kind of see what they've come up with, and so, and then yeah, I think that's it.
There's no internet, it's hard to get internet. So half your students live out in the country and they don't have access. A few do now as they come to the townships, but the majority don't have internet service other than CenturyLink, which is very poor. So just maybe look into that side of it a little.
Yep, will do.
I just want to add, I was at the robotics competition on Friday afternoon. It was awesome. Those
Yeah.
kids are so hyped up.
Yep.
It's fun, great energy. So excited to hear our students did so well.
Okay.
During COVID, did they have some type of hubs?
Yeah, we had hotspots that we gave students that didn't have internet out in the
Do we
country.
still have those?
No.
No? Okay. Do you know how expensive they are? No idea? Okay. I know some kids used to come and park in the parking
Mhm.
lot so that they could connect, but for the little ones then.
Well, in the e-learning day for like elementary, what I'm seeing in the other districts is it's more like kits that get sent home in the beginning of the year. So when they have e-learning day, that they work on these, you know, grade appropriate extra, you know, activities that they can work on at home. So it's not necessarily.
So it
Is
wouldn't
that-
necessarily
yeah, not
be
so much
like
online.
something, yeah, that was like done, like, we're working on this project and you can continue it at home, maybe something kind of separate plan. And what was the disadvantage why we didn't do e-learning days historically?
All I recall is that the statement, I believe, was that we want to just keep it traditional snow days. We should have. Yeah.
I remember that same conversation, that if it's a snow day, it's like a bonus day. So that was sort of the thinking at that time, that they, you know, everybody looks forward, not everybody, but many people look
Yeah.
forward to a snow day, and it's really exciting.
Mhm.
And then to say, whoops, it's a learning day. But it's all in how you market and frame it.
Mhm.
Well, and I like what Tim is talking about. We don't necessarily use it until we're tight on them, so they'll still get snow days and shovel at home.
Yep.
Yep. I think it's a great thing to have queued up in our back pocket, 100%. But in terms of the internet, I know there are more and more options coming available. Could we do some type of a survey or put it into paperwork that we fill out with the families to kind of get a sense of how many families are in a situation where that would be preventative or prohibitive for them? Because I feel like there are more options that we could explore that.
All right. Any other comments or questions for Mr. Roeder? Hearing none, we'll move on to item C, strategic plan update. Anything new there?
Just one real quick, Ingenta will be here tomorrow. We'll meet with all the principals, going through all the sites, so looking forward to having them on site. It's actually moving quicker than they anticipated, because we've been so responsive and so good about getting them information. So actually, one of the companies that we had to send information to commented today, they're like, we've never had stuff this fast, so
Wow.
heck yeah.
Tell them thank you for my eyeglass.
Nice, yes.
Appreciate it.
So they're at the high school tomorrow?
They're
or
at all the sites, meeting
all
with
the sites
principals
tomorrow?
too.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to item D, reports, school board district committees. I see Community Education Advisory and Early Learning Council. Anybody have anything on that? Any questions? No? All right. Moving on to the enrollment report. Anybody have questions on March 2026 enrollment? Okay.
Question.
Yes.
What grade do we, for open enrollment, I guess, how does that look right now? I think we were getting like full, like our, like class sizes were large, so I know we closed open enrollment, right?
Yeah, for second semester it's closed, but we're getting, this time of year, we get a lot for next year.
So like
those are coming.
what does that look like, I guess? Like how many students are we accepting? I
Well,
guess?
it all depends on what our enrollment looks like with district students and current students. There are some grades right now, I believe it's going to be 7th or 8th grade next year that it's like 162 already, so those ones are already, pretty maxed out. But for the most part, a lot of what we've gotten so far have been kindergarten, so we got to have kindergarten registration first before we can determine our availability there. So, this time of year is good that people are putting them in this time of year instead of August, so helps us plan ahead.
Yeah. Thank you.
Are we looking at holding elementaries at 4 per class at Bayview?
That's the conversation that we're going to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you on that. Good job. It's great to ask the questions.
Guys, I just have to ask a question. Back
Yep.
to the Community Education Advisory and Early Learning Council. Just having a moment where I realized that I am on a committee for curriculum and instruction. But it's not, okay, but I just noticed in the minutes, not one person from Proctor attended the meeting.
I had rehearsal.
Okay,
I
so I just want,
normally go.
okay, so I was going to say, like, just, do we have representation, and did that change at all? Okay,
I
just,
normally go, but I had rehearsal.
not a problem. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't an oversight, that we didn't forget to fulfill that
Nope,
spot. Okay,
it's
thank you.
me.
Nope, it's okay, thank you.
No? Oh, okay. Moving on to legislative update. Anything happening there?
Nothing happened in the legislative.
Yeah, right on.
Just, Garrett and I recently went up to the Ed, Minnesota and met with them about the statewide health insurance bill that's being proposed. And, I guess as it's written right now, I don't know that we would support it because of what they call hold harmless money, because the way it would work is, we would pretty much be paying, what, $300,000 or more than what we are now in premiums. But the state would give us that to compensate that, but that amount would never change. It would just stay at that amount for however long. So as things increase, we would end up having to pay more money. And so that's the piece right now. If it doesn't change, I don't know that we would support it. Am I right on
I agree with that.
A second that.
that?
I mean, as much as healthcare's going up,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, the idea of it is, create a bigger pool so that it can be more stable and districts can kind of plan. Instead of having 16% increases, you're looking at a much smaller increase. But I think the state just needs to adjust a few things to get everybody on board, so.
Okay, thank you for that. It's an important one. Moving on to item 4, board goals. Nothing there?
I think we've been monitoring the strategic plan, and Tim's been providing us with the information that we need, and so we're on track.
Can I ask in terms of like the evaluation and my goals, is that something that as we get into the summer that I would present all at one time, or is that something as I do things I should be bringing them here?
I would bring them, as you do them, I would bring them in.
Okay.
And that will become your body of evidence. And then when we meet with you in June, then we'll just kind of recap what's gone on.
Okay.
But I think we would all appreciate hearing things as they come, rather than hearing it at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that. Moving on to item 5, Township and City Communications.
Yeah, so tomorrow night is the township annual meetings. I believe it's Midway's at 8, Solway's at 8:30, Grand Lake at 7, and Kenosha at 8:30. I don't remember who said who's going where, but we, in the folder here, we have, on the left is like a lot of things you can talk about. So pick and choose, you know, what you want to talk about, but there's something about every piece of our district-wide, to every site, to every building, so feel free to share what you want to share. Our district calendars over here you can hand out for next year. There's also senior passes for our activities that you can give to the board members. Yeah, that's the plan. I have a dinner meeting with our administrators at 6, so I may not get to all of them, but I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. So, yeah.
And it's not an activities pass, it's only athletic. They don't get into the play free.
Why not?
We need the money.
Well, at least you're honest.
We're building.
All right. Thank you for that. Moving on to item 10, action items, Finance Director Report and approval of Treasurer's Report. Let's start with you, Mr. Garrett, and do your report.
Thank you, Chair Ward, members. One thing I want to talk about today was lease levy. Superintendent Roweter kind of mentioned it in his report with the sped co-op, so I just thought I'd provide some more context around what that is and how we use it. So the lease levy is, within that is, the board is given the authority to levy for certain leases that the district enters into for physical space related to educational purposes. So currently the district has 5 leases that fall under that. We rent some space over by the fairground for storage. We rent part of the PAC, Proctor Area Community Center, which is in the city building and police building. We lease the PEC, Proctor Early Childhood Center. We lease a portion of land in Pike Lake where the playground is for the students to use that during the recess time. And then we also are leasing, we have a COP, Certificate of Participation, also at Pike Lake. And what that is a bond that we issued when we did that addition in the back with the 6 classrooms and the gymnasium. So essentially we said we are going to bond against our future ability to levy in this area. Does that make sense? Maybe. So essentially what we're saying is, so in order to get the capital up front to build the facility, we said, you know, we're going to lease the facility over the course of the bond, and those bond payments are in essentially the lease payments. So those are the 5. We have, within the coming years, we'll have a couple dropping off of that, the 2 largest ones. The largest one being the Pike Lake, which ends in fiscal year 28. And then we also, and that is $212 per pupil unit is what the board has the authority to levy, which is around $400,000. We're currently utilizing about half of that amount. We also have a separate lease levy for special education instruction, which is what Superintendent Roweter was speaking to. So a couple years ago, the legislature changed the law to allow cooperative districts to levy through their the school as a part of the cooperative at $65 per pupil unit. And so that is the portion of lease levy that goes towards what will be the Garfield building moving forward. That lease is also different since it's coming from Northern Lights. It can change year to year. Currently, the lease amounts are based on the number of students we have participating at each of those sites. They may change that, maybe. And one of those is the concepts when we talk about the levy, we're always talking about a balanced levy, an even levy moving into the future. So when we introduce it by the student numbers, we're going to see, we could see large swings depending on the number of students we have enrolled as part of the whole. Currently we have a large number of students, and as we see students come out of those Setting 4 programs or graduate out of them or more go into them, we just want to alleviate that fluctuation year to year.
Yeah, we have the second most behind Cloquet students at NLA. So.
And they go in and out throughout, in and out throughout the year.
Somewhat.
I mean, they can.
They can,
They
yes.
could,
Yep.
depending on how they're doing, and then they could go back into the program if it's
Yep.
not the proper setting.
That's all I got.
All right. Anybody have any other questions for Garrett? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 2, approve the payment of bills dated February 23rd, 2026 in the amount of $391,043.61, covering checks 125982 through 126014 and all ACH transfers. Approve the payment of bills dated March 2nd, 2026 in the amount of $419,192.58, covering checks 126015 through 126082, void checks 125419 and 125434, and approve the electronic transfers and payrolls for February 2006. Electronic transfers in the amount of $2,600,000 and payroll in the amount of $2,099,558.78. Looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
Motion by Amy, looking for a second.
I'll second it, Larry.
Second by Larry. Any questions or comments on the financials? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And moving on to item B, items that require board approval. Approve the recommendation by Tim Reuter, Superintendent, and the administrative team to amend the 2025-2026 calendar to make April 6th a student contact day instead of a professional development day, to make up for weather-related closures that occurred this year. Looking for a motion.
So
What's that?
Second by Amy.
That was Lynn?
yeah.
Motion by Lynn, second by Amy. Any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I just have one question about that. So, because that's right around the Easter break, and maybe some families were planning to be gone, will those students be excused if they had already, or is that up to each individual building?
Yeah, and we'll be flexible.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that. Moving on to item C, resolutions. Adopt the resolution designating Tim Reuter, Superintendent of Schools, with the authority to grant authorizations and assign users to the Minnesota Department of Education External User Access Recertification System. Looking for a motion.
So moved, Jen.
Motion by Jen, looking for a second.
Seconded, Tammy.
Second by Tammy. Any questions or comments on this item?
That's something we do every year.
All right, this is a resolution, so we'll do a roll call vote.
McDonald,
Yes.
Peterson, yes. Hawkenich.
Here. Yes.
I know you're here.
She wasn't for a second.
Thank you. So, Podgornik,
Yes.
Shelton,
Yes.
Sunbaum,
Yes.
Ward.
I'm here with a yes, too.
Yes, good. All right, unanimously approved, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to item 11, board member comments.
I have 3 things.
Excellent. Will you start for us, please,
Okay,
Ms.
because I'm
Proctor?
here. So, first of all, the Proctor U, it is really nice to see so many CITS classes. I know you mentioned it, but even just the setup, it makes it sound like university classes, so that's really cool. Second, I've gotten a lot of feedback about your communication style being very good, so keep up the good work. Third, are any student liaison members coming with us? Which ones?
Way with
Okay.
Jen.
Yeah, I'm going to Grand Lake.
Okay. Is anybody going to Solway? Okay. Okay.
Somebody's going there.
Me.
Yep, okay.
That's it.
Thank you for that.
I was also curious about the Proctor U. I was talking to Mr. Awesome about this. I think it's really cool too. I like that we have like a platform for our own like in-house classes, you know, that are in partner with UMD and LSC and so on. But I was curious, like with PSEO, obviously we're trying to have kids on campus more because it's expensive for PSEO. Like I guess compared to like last year, how much have we like what are the PSEO like I guess enrollment like numbers? And I know I was talking to Mr. Awesome, he said it was like required that we offer PSEO, and I was just curious like what all that means.
Yeah, I mean, by state statute, we have to make it available and publicize that we have concurrent enrollment options for students. From last year to this year, there hasn't been much change, but we're hoping for next year. And the state legislature right now is actually, there's a bill out there related to this, because a lot of districts are seeing a lot of money go out the door with students leaving to go PSEO. And it's nothing against PSEO, but there's a lot of students who take the same classes we offer here, CITS, PSEO. So the state, one of the pieces of the bill is if we offer it on site that they can't take it off PSEO. So we're hoping that, you know, again, it's not that we want to hold them hostage here or anything like that, hold students, but, you know, if we offer it here, we feel that, you know, especially the fact that when it first started, PSEO was about giving the students the college experience, you know, while they're in high school. A lot of students, when they do PSEO, are taking it online now, you know, so it's not really even giving them the college experience. And so we feel that, and part of the Proctor U branding and promotion is the fact that, you know, you're getting college classes with our teachers who you know, in our school facility, getting the support from our teachers, all that stuff. So, you know, we feel it's a better, sometimes a better product that we offer here, and also more support for the students. So
I think adding that branding really kind of draws your attention to it too. So I was pretty excited when I saw it too.
Yeah. I wanted to speak as like a PSEO student. I think that a lot of what draws students towards PSEO rather than taking CITS classes is that there's obviously a lot more options from LSC when you're going through directly through the college. If you're doing full time, you can just pack in many more credits than you could if you were taking them here. And it also, I know when I was full time, it gave me like a real sense of freedom. Like I had my whole day at home besides like my 2-hour course. And that's why I'm really excited about the Proctor U, because I think that, and I didn't even mention the rigor of the courses. I always feel challenged in my course at LSC. I think that expanding the options of classes that students can take here from just like your core classes is really going to excite students and, you know, give them that sense of rigor. Like I, for a long time, haven't wanted to take like high school classes because I just kind of feel like I'm doing nothing, which is no offense to other students, but it's just like having those more rigorous courses because we're lacking like APs and I guess a majority of honors that other schools would offer. I'm really excited to see where Proctor U goes because I think it's gonna it has all of those pros that PSEO has that we didn't used to. So that's my opinion.
Do you know how close we would be to an AA degree with the courses that we offer? Do you have any idea?
We had Jim Voss and Becky the Plant actually gave me some information on that, but I can't remember it offhand.
Okay, I'm just curious because if students can stay on campus
Yep.
and earn an AA degree, I mean, that would be ideal. And then the scheduling will be more flexible in terms of which days they need.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Any other?
Of course,
I didn't even finish.
you don't have to.
Okay.
Mel mentioned that Annie will be presented Friday, but it will also be Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday matinee. Tickets are $10 in advance, $5 at the door, or you can purchase them in the high school office through Kelly Oakstead. She has graciously agreed to sell tickets for us. So.
10 in advance, but
Yes,
5 at the
but-
door?
No. 10 for adults, 5 for students.
Maybe,
I'm tired.
maybe you better advertise the
I'm
ticket
tired.
prices.
No.
Just wait to get your tickets till later, I guess, right?
No.
Yeah.
It's, I'm sorry, I used the wrong word. It's 10 for adults, 5 for students. It doesn't matter if you purchase them in advance, but you have the flexibility then of walking into the auditorium and selecting a seat much quicker if you buy them in advance. And I'm sorry for turning my head when I speak.
More? No.
Jen, the next board meeting is the 23rd, right? During the break?
Correct.
Perfect, because I'm gone on the 30th.
Okay. Any other board member comments? Hearing none, moving on to item 12, looking for a motion for adjournment.
So moved by Amy.
Motion by Amy, looking for a second.
Jen?
Second by Jen. Anybody have anything else? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
That's okay, I said I was here.
All right, we're all
At Proctor Public Schools, we're more than just a district. We're a journey. Every day, our teachers, staff, and students work together, building knowledge, confidence, and character, mile by mile. From our early learners to our graduates ready for the world ahead, we're fueling curiosity, connecting ideas, and driving innovation, all while keeping our eyes on the horizon. Because here in Proctor, we don't just ride the rails, we are the rails, educating, engaging, and inspiring the next generation to go full steam ahead.